Hey guys, it's Dan. Let's talk about multiplying and dividing integers. So there are some rules for multiplying and dividing integers, and the rules are real simple for multiplication and division. It's basically if you're multiplying two numbers and their signs are alike, your answer is going to be positive. But if you're multiplying or dividing two numbers and their signs are different, then your answer is going to be negative. So if the signs are alike, it's positive. If the signs are different, it's going to be negative. So to summarize, look at this. So if the signs are alike, it's going to be positive. If the signs are different, it's going to be negative. So a positive times a positive is a positive. A negative times a negative is a positive. And a positive times a negative is a negative. And a negative times a positive is a negative. So here's some examples over here. Notice negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6. And you could probably just write 6, but if you want to make sure your teacher really knows that you know the answer, you could put positive 6 like that. Notice that, of course, positive 2 times positive 3 is positive 6. That hasn't changed since, third grade. Number 3, negative 2 times positive 3. So here the signs are different. One is negative and one is positive. So notice that's negative 6. And you really do have to put the negative there. And then notice here, positive 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Now I did all of those as multiplication. So let me take a minute and do a little bit of erasing. And let's look at this with division. So we're following these multiplication and division rules. So let me write a few of these down real fast like. And notice that was multiplication even though I didn't have a multiplication symbol. So sometimes the parentheses are just written right next to each other and that means multiplication. Other times you'll see just a dot in between the numbers and that means multiplication. So a dot signifies multiplication, or parentheses right next to each other signifies multiplication. Okay, all right, so I wrote a few division problems down. Let's take a look at those. So notice here, of course, a positive divided by a positive is a positive, so 6 divided by 2 is 3. Here we have a negative divided by a negative. Notice that's positive 3. So if the signs are alike, it's going to be positive. So you divide it just like you always have, but you're choosing the sign based on these rules over here on this side, okay? So notice number 3, the signs are different. We have negative 6 divided by 2. That's going to be negative 3 because the signs are different. One of them's negative, one of them's positive. That's different. And notice lastly that 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3. So here the signs are different also. The top number is positive, the bottom number is negative. So when you do that division, it's going to be a negative answer, so negative 3. So these are the rules for multiplication and division. So I know a bunch of you have a test coming up in the next day or so, and you need to know the rules for multiplication and division. These rules are actually much simpler than the addition and subtraction rules, so I'm going to make a video next on that. But let's make sure we've got this nailed down. I would recommend if you're taking a quiz or a test where you're going to have mixed problems, some of them are going to be multiplication, some of them are going to be division, some of them are going to be addition, some of them are going to be subtraction. If that's the case, I would recommend writing this at the top of your paper for multiplication and division. As soon as you get your test, jot this down. If they're alike, it's positive. If they're different, it's negative. And that's for multiplication and division. Write that at the top of your paper. And then do the multiplication and division problems all first. Don't just do them in order. Do the multiplication and division while this rule is fresh in your mind. Do that first. Go through the whole quiz or the whole test and do all of the multiplication and division problems first using those rules. And then come back and take a look at the next video. And while we're talking about videos, it'd be great if you went ahead and subscribed, and that way you would get updates on the videos as well. And regularly look at this channel. I'm going to be putting hints for math that will help you, okay? So then what I would do is I would go back and then do the addition and subtraction problems following the rules that I'm going to show you in the next video. Y'all have a good one. Talk to you later.